So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit and I'm the tiny one.
Nice. So you have a good theme for us today.
Yeah, a good theme.
Yeah.
Can we take off the vibration on the phone?
Yeah, I pretty much don't know how to do that.
Okay,
I can take the sound off, but not the vibration.
Okay. Well, okay. I will. Jason is a
hot take.
Hot take. Now he has a hot phone.
A hot phone.
Hot phone.
People love us because we are in demand.
Jason is in high demand.
Yeah, but what the wise Marit said is that it's not your addiction to social media, my friends, that's the issue. Because if you've ever stopped with your pants half down, pulled them back up, gone out to get your phone and go back to the bathroom to go to the bathroom, you know you're addicted to your phone.
Exactly.
But it's the picking up of the phone.
Yes.
So this is a good thing. Your phone can buzz and you can get notifications.
But don't take it up.
But don't pick it up.
We say fight the position before the submission.
Exactly. So just realize that if you don't handle your phone, you're fine. As soon as you have to pick it up, it's an issue.
It's an issue. That was not the theme, though.
Yeah.
It's just that we had a phone vibrating, and
and I'm very zen. I'm allowing it to vibrate.
He's more zen than I am about it. So that's nice. Now we're going to talk about traditions.
Yes.
Because I believe, if my calculation's been right, that today is Halloween.
Aha. Mm-hmm. Snap.
So my first question is, did you celebrate? Because you're an American. Did you celebrate Halloween?
Boo. Yeah, I did. Fuck. Yeah, exactly. I was waiting for you to stop. Like, I have to say boo.
Yeah, you looked very, very engaged with your microphone. Yeah. Something is coming.
Yeah. So I traveled a lot as a child and moved to different countries. So I was exposed to Carnival. I was exposed to Halloween. I was exposed to nothing at all. I realized that the way Halloween is celebrated, especially outside the US, interestingly enough, though it's extremely commercial there, is almost 100% a fabrication of stores and consumerism. That Norway, for example, never had Halloween, and now it does.
No, I never had. That's why I'm interested. Because did you kind of do trick and treating and
yeah,
and
we
stuff
did.
like that?
We did trick or treating. We it was actually quite nice because you would go out into the community and you would get to know the neighbors. And you back in the day, you actually did know your neighbors, and they would make special treats for you, and you would walk around and you get candy, and it was a good thing. And you basically have these big grocery bags that they would fill up, and you'd have then candy if your parents were smart for a whole year, right? Because they're very generous with sweet stuff in the States, right? It's quite cheap, and they just load you up. The not smart parents would allow their kids to just wolf down. In the 80s, hyper protectionism and what's called helicopter parents started, and there were a few incidents where people would put like razor blades in apples and make caramel. No, they basically sabotaged. I mean, just sick people, right? But there was like one in 100 million or something. It was super, super rare, but because it was a sensation and because it was the 80s and because parents were hyper protective, then there became like a whole rule where you didn't take homemade sweets and treats.
Okay, so you could kind of got the one you bought in the store, but you didn't. If someone made made buns, you wouldn't take a bun.
You would never take a bun because you didn't know, because you'd also then at that point didn't know your neighbors anymore.
Okay.
You see, this is the whole point, is that we're separating ourselves so much from the way things used to be, communities and families and all this. First the people's nationalism started to disappear because we became kind of world citizens, and then their communities disintegrated because we have mobile phones and we kind of no longer really dependent on borrowing sugar from our neighbor anymore, and Amazon delivers it to your house if you want them to. And then suddenly we're not even looking at each other when we eat meals because we're on our phones. Right? So it's very interesting how hyper vigilant protectionism happens more and more the less you know the people around you. Right? And it's of course makes sense. It's changed in America and it's become more commercial, like everything in the US has become. The intention with it was actually quite nice. It was a community builder.
Okay, so the trick in treating kind of arose as a community builder.
Yeah,
in one way.
It was. It's, it's a little scary, a little fun. It's a transition to winter, and you get to put on cool costumes and you get to pretend to be somebody else and get candy as a kid. And you knew that your kids were safe as parents, and you would follow them maybe from door to door and be maybe proud of your kid's costume or whatever, and then the adults would have their obligatory costume parties that were awesome. Just like in the old days in France, they had these masquerades.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It was actually quite nice. The way it's celebrated here, just basically alcoholized grown-up parties with makeup on your face and kind of maybe a little bit of trick-or-treating, but it just doesn't feel the same.
No, when I grew up, we didn't have any Halloween.
Yeah.
We kind of had, I think when I was like 14, 15, 16, and you kind of had like a Halloween party where you would dress up and would like watch a scary movie and very innocent, but no trick-or-treating. We have something in Norway I have social anxiety, and so this is my worst nightmare. That is that you go Yuli book.
Oh yeah.
Was directly translated, that would be Christmas buck.
Christmas buck, yeah. You're going to be almost stag. I would say use the word stag. Christmas stag.
Christmas stag, which is basically it's basically the same, but you will dress out like a Santa thing or an elf, and you would
cover your face.
No.
Oh, because a lot of people go in anonymously.
Oh yeah. Well, if you have the one with Santa face on it, you won't cover your face.
Oh,
it's not like you put a bag on your head.
No, but like some people wear like
a mask with Christmas with exactly. Santa on it.
So you don't necessarily know who they are.
No, yeah. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I was like, when you said bag, I'm like,
no,
cover the face. I was thinking, no, we're not abducting.
Kind of like
people.
A stalking on the face or some kind of a mask or whatever. Yeah, they're kind of anonymous, right?
Yeah, but they're not robbing a bag.
Well, I've heard and then they just have a cup and then you fill it with whatever.
No, they would sing a carol for you.
Oh, okay.
You would sing a carol.
Oh, that's
caroling.
Nice. That's nice.
But dressed as Santa or have a Santa hat.
I was exposed to a whole other version of this. It was way more gangster. Well, my ex-colleague, him and his buddy kind of broke in and sat down with like hockey masks on their face, and they were like,
No. Okay, that sounds like robbery. That is not this.
I'm glad to hear it.
Christmas stag or Yuli book is basically kids.
Yes. Oh.
Walking around with a Santa face or a Santa hat, singing caroling and getting candy.
That's nice.
And it happens because Christmas, like we talked about before, is a big thing in Norway.
Yes.
Christmas starts the 1st of December, ends January 1st.
It's like 2-3 weeks. It's insane.
It's insane. And the days between the 24th and 31st of December are holy and sacred.
Yeah.
And you stay with your family and the whole thing. But in that week, in that week, you can go Yuli book.
Okay.
And so that's kind of actually our version of it. I, however, with my social anxiety, I never opened the door.
Yeah. They ring and you're like, I'm hiding.
Yes, I can't deal with that.
Turn off the lights.
I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
It's one of my parts of my social anxiety I haven't been bothered to deal with, because as for now, it doesn't stop me from living the life I want to live.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
when you have kids, then you're gonna have to open the door.
No, I have a husband. He does that.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't have it. So I'm like,
perfect.
I like big crowds. I give me the more people, the better.
Yep.
I prefer a large stage versus a small stage. He prefers one-on-one versus many. It's perfect.
Perfect.
So that's kind of the Norwegian version of Halloween.
Yes.
just in Christmas. But I was just thinking, because we're coming into the months of traditions, right? You have Halloween for many, you have Thanksgiving in America, you have in Norway Christmas starts again from the 1st of December. And I'm just interesting because that our traditions has to shape how we look at the world.
Yeah, that's right. And that's an interesting thing, because you see immediately, I don't understand the rules of being a Christmas bug, right? And just like you wouldn't necessarily
I think that
understand.
Your friends weren't very kind, because that is a robbery.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't know if it was correct or not.
If they take a Christmas sock and cut holes in it, and they're not singing caroling and kind of threatening with a cup, it's not Yuli book.
And they sit on your couch and just stay there until you've given them enough. No. Now that, you see, but that would be very kind of Viking Nordic, wouldn't it? It sounds actually quite.
Well, if the Vikings went to England, maybe.
Yeah, so. But the frame that we put around our society seems just as foreign for other people as it feels familiar for ourselves, because our frames create who we are and how we see the world, like we had in our webinar.
Yeah.
So the frames very often feel invisible. During the webinar, I said, okay, would you like to see what a frame is? And everybody's like, yeah, sure. I said, okay, would you like a red Porsche or a blue Porsche? Raise your right hand if you want a red one. And then people raise their hand. Raise your hand if you want a blue one. And everybody was very satisfied. Yes. And I said, okay, now I just decided that you were going to have a car, that you were going to get something. Number one, I decided you were going to get a car, and what kind of car. And you feel like you chose everything. You chose that you're going to have that red Porsche, or you're going to have that blue Porsche. The point is that the 3 frames that I chose, you didn't even register. And that's the way cultural frames work, because they're so a natural part of how you see things. You don't feel them. It's kind of like when you had your pants on you all day long, you don't feel them until you take them off.
That's right? Male pants, not female pants.
Yeah, yes, male pants, yeah, exactly.
It's a big difference.
It's kind of like when you have your glasses on top of your head, if you had that and you're looking for your glasses because you forget they're on your head, because your body, your nervous system is actually, and your psychology has a limited amount of processing power. So what it does is it sets a frame and then it forgets it, so that you can use the leftover energy in your brain to focus on things that are changing, that are perhaps dangerous or an opportunity, right? So a lot of the frames that we walk around with are completely unconscious, like our worldviews and our personal philosophies, for most people, are unconscious their whole lives, right? And that's how, in a way, religion, which gives us many of our traditions, right?
Like Halloween.
Yeah, like like a Christmas Stag, right? And I don't think Jesus is up and down for that.
Well, not your version. My version, I think, is very up for your.
Yeah, he's up for it, but I don't think he ever thought about candy.
No.
No, I don't think he had candy.
I don't think they had candy.
They should have. He deserves some candy.
He deserves some candy.
Yeah. So the point is that the religion came in and has given societies in general worldview, personal philosophy, and a lot of the roles that people have to play in society. And we don't even think about it. So those traditional frames that we set, can we change them? Absolutely. I've celebrated Carnival. I've been exposed to a Christmas Stag, right? And I wouldn't know if it was correct or not, because I don't have it in I haven't filled out that frame enough to know if we're kind of on the mark or not on the mark. Right.
No, but I will say I find traditions to be very powerful. Yes. I think also tradition can be very devastating.
Yeah.
For instance, I mentioned this some years ago, was we had in our family that you had to have Christmas dinner at 5:00, for instance.
Yeah.
And because that was my grandfather did, and because it was a tradition.
It's the way it was.
It's a tradition.
Yeah.
And same with, we have to make a certain cake for Christmas. We're going to eat on Christmas Eve. We make the 23rd in the evening.
Oh man.
Like, why? Again,
so stressy.
It's very stressy. But that's the thing we're doing. I'm keeping it because I've made a new decision that I just love doing it.
Yeah.
For me, it's a start of entering Christmas.
Yeah, it's a portal.
It's a portal, exactly. So I re-chosen it, but I did because I've been now taught, I ask a lot of questions. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is it good for?
Yes.
If it answer is absolutely nothing,
Yep.
maybe don't.
Yep.
If it's a reason for it, yeah, maybe I'll keep it. But
and can you repurpose it?
And can you repurpose it? And what does it mean for me? Like you talk about meaning magic. What meaning do I put on it? So for me to make that cake, I make it with my husband. So it was a big tradition of family. First, my grandfather and grandmother did it. Then it was my grandfather and my mom. Then my grandfather died, and my mom did it with her father. So she kind of felt that was their thing. So then me and my grandmother took over, but then my grandmother died.
Right.
So then me and my husband took it.
That's cool.
So it's kind of become a thing that we do to connect and kind of we have some wine and we put on some Christmas music and we just kind of, he burns his fingers and we all never remember how much better did we have in this thing.
Yeah.
And it's a mess, but it's kind of become a thing. And we, for me, I'm using it as a way to connect to my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, and the tradition in itself. But it's just interesting because the other one that my also grandfather had was the 7 o'clock thing. That just led to stress and arguing the whole day, because we also had that you decorate the Christmas tree on Christmas Eve, like no Christmas Day. Like it's like everything, there's too much crammed in a too little space. So, and then everything went shitways sideways on Christmas, and we did instead of potatoes, we had mashed potatoes, and with the meal you can't have mashed potatoes, so everything was delayed 3 hours.
Yes,
but it didn't change anything.
No.
So now it's more 6-ish.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Because the tradition got broken.
Yes,
and
exactly.
It was a huge trauma.
When you once break the frame,
exactly,
right, you can reset the frame however you like.
Because we survived.
Exactly.
Because it's kind of the feeling, I think, is almost like if you don't do it, you die, or a party should die, or some connection dies, or you're a bad person, or who are you if you don't do it?
Exactly.
And then that Christmas, it was shitways sideways until we sat down for dinner at around 7.
Oof. 2 hours late.
2 hours late, but half an hour into the dinner, everything kind of was back to normal.
Exactly.
Like it would always
got back on track.
So it was like, we survived that.
Yeah.
Everybody's standing.
Yeah.
Nobody's dead. I think my mom almost killed my dad at one point there, but because he was, of course, doing something totally different.
Yes.
But it kind of showed that you broke the frame, but you survived.
Yeah.
So then we adapted that tradition.
Yeah.
So I think traditions are very powerful. But I was wondering, and that is, what do you think about adopting other people's tradition? Is that okay when you visit a different culture?
Absolutely.
I think it's okay, but I think some people will say that it doesn't belong to you, so you're not a
cultural appropriation is called.
Yes.
But I would like to make a distinction between those two things. Yes. So there's an old cheap saying that I can use, and we could drop the whole subject and not answer the question and feel good about ourselves. Okay. When in Rome, do as the
Romans.
Exactly. Which means cultural appropriation is the rule. It has always been the rule. Because when you are in a certain area, there's a reason why the traditions are built like they are. Now, it doesn't mean that they're valid or good, but there's a reason, right? And it's a very easy way to connect with other people. The thing is, having moved from culture to culture myself, having been exposed to philosophy and religions, having been taken in different households that have completely different ways of thinking, I've realized that there are some ways of thinking that are more efficient than others, but no culture has all the right answers. They have the right answers for them, but they don't have the right answers in general. And that's different because when you go from a smaller frame to a bigger frame, you realize that that big frame has it has space for a lot of different smaller frames. So there are concepts, for example, in religion, from the Quran, from the Sikh texts, from the Hindu text, the Mahabharata, from the Bible, that I really appreciate, that I resonate with. So when I associate myself to them, I'm a better person and I function better. Doesn't mean that I'm a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Sikh but I can appreciate the thinking and the tradition there, and it gives me something. So if you enter into a different culture, especially if you're living in that culture, not just visiting, very often it's smart to at least try the traditions. Now, cultural appropriation is different. Cultural appropriation is taking the identity of somebody else to get an unfair advantage in a situation. So, for example, if you start acting like you're African American when you're obviously not, you're like the opposite of African American.
I have some African American blood in me.
Yeah. 400 million years ago, maybe.
Look at the sun and I turn red.
But if you are, using African American culture in order to, in a way, demand the rights of a minority in a culture where you're not, that is not correct.
That's very wrong.
If you, for example,
then we get
and a lot of the blues and soul music was stolen by white America, for example, and repackaged into a very Anglo way. And very often, because they had more media, they would become more famous and get more money than the people who actually wrote the songs and produced them. So that's cultural appropriation. And it's different because when you're participating in a frame or you're participating in a structure that a community has in a respectful way, that's respect. It's love. It's actually being humble, appropriating it so that you can try to be better or different or get an unfair advantage is disgusting. So it's really kind of, are you confident or arrogant? Where are you on the scale? Confidence is beautiful. Arrogance is disgusting. At the same time, they're on the same scale somehow. They're just depending.
I'm just laughing because I'm very arrogant with Siv's computer system. I looked at her the other day because she's having some computer issues. If I look at it, it changes.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like coming in like, you can't see it if not on YouTube, but I'm like just like bossing in and just like looking at it, pushing and like, there you go. And she's like looks at me like, now you're very arrogant.
Yeah,
and I just looked at it and I just looked at it and I said, I know, and it will be like this until the mighty will fall one day.
Yeah, exactly.
I will change that.
That's funny.
So
yeah, but that's
there's a big difference.
Yeah. So we often talk about at the flow states about basically the 5 horsemen, right? You have to have awareness in your life, and you should actually work on becoming more aware and more objective, clean awareness around things, because then you can see that this is not the right thing. This is just what we do. That you can see these invisible frames that I was talking about, when I said red Porsche or blue Porsche, you see the frames and you can realize, I don't want to participate at all. This is not my thing. Or this is my chance to get a free Porsche. Let's go. Go ahead and decide.
This situation, it creates so much stress that if you look at what's the purpose of this connection with family, and you say that, well, we argue for 3 hours, we are not happy when we're there, and we're just exhausted when we get home. But the sole purpose of this is actually love and connection.
Exactly.
Let's see how we can change the frame to actually get the love and connection.
Exactly.
So don't do a tradition in your family, I would say. Like I really agree with, if you go to a culture.
Yeah.
If I were to, I don't know, I don't have that many Jewish friends, but the Hanukkah. They celebrate Hanukkah. I would do the Hanukkah if I was invited in. 100%. Just tell me what to do and the system here. But for my own traditions that I have for my family and friends, I like look at them and kind of see what's the sole purpose.
Yeah.
And then kind of backstep their frames from there.
Exactly.
Instead of having to, like we say, the words matter, like having to versus I get to or I want to.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't have to go to church at Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I want to, and I get to.
You get to. You
for
get
instance,
to participate.
because that's
Exactly.
something I would like to do.
It's an opportunity.
Exactly.
It's an opportunity. That's it. So think about the 5 horsemen that we talked about, the things that you must have in your posse. Awareness. The other one, the next one is flow, meaning that the only constant in the universe is that everything changes, everything transitions and moves, which means that you don't have to be stuck on eating at 5 o'clock, eating Christmas dinner at 5 o'clock. You actually can transition, you can flow. And in fact, it is the nature of things. Try not to hurt in your heart when it does change, because things will change. People change. My body's changing. Yes, you're still going to get the food, change. So flow and being open to the fact that things may change, even the things that you hold to be constant, traditional, and sacred may change, right?
All of a sudden, that sacred vase was broken.
Exactly.
For instance.
Yeah. And the Pope has changed Catholicism. He's literally changed the way things are looked at.
Favorite Pope died.
Yeah, your favorite Pope dies.
Now we have a new one saying different things.
Exactly. So it's just what it is, my friends, right? So that's flow. And then it's up, down, meaning that it's about your choice. It's about how you look at this thing. Like you were saying, was such a beautiful thing, that this is something that my husband and I choose to take forward because
he chooses it.
You choose it for him. But it's a portal. Instead of it being a hassle, you've chosen to look at it as a portal to Christmas, which is such a beautiful thing. It's like, okay, now I'm stepping through, and my nervous system's going to relax into Christmas, and I'm going to love this, because when I make this cake, it's on.
Yeah, actually, we actually had to adapt with the flow last year, because it is made in the evening. But for some reason, I can't remember why, we had something that evening.
Yeah.
And then I had to go, well, I had to ask them, can we make it in the morning? We never do that, and that's wrong. But no, but we actually can make it in the morning, and it won't change anything. It's just it will be light outside instead of dark. Yeah, and maybe we didn't have wine, because you shouldn't have wine at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
maybe. But we didn't have wine. We had glögg instead, which is kind of a Christmas toddy.
Yeah, it's a hot toddy, but it's not necessarily alcoholized.
No,
it can be
sweet.
It's sweet and with nuts and raisins, and it's really nice. Yeah, but so that's how you're looking at it, the up, down. And then the third one is, or the fourth one was inside out. It's inside out, meaning that you're doing it from what you want to express in the world, instead of doing it because everybody else is doing it. You're choosing, you have the opportunity to go to church, not having to go to church because everybody else is going to church, having to go to church because people are going to think I'm a bad person if I don't go to church, no, that's the outside in. But you want to work from the inside out.
Because we talked a little bit about this, that a lot of people, because we do kind of praise that you do you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean kind of create a wreck. Like, don't just look at it from your perspective, look at it from perspective.
Yes.
What does it actually mean?
Exactly.
Not from the state you're in, but for instance, say I'm not very religious, but maybe I don't feel like going to church, but I know this is the biggest thing for my grandma the whole year, I would go.
Yeah.
Kind of we talk about also, if you said I'm on a no sugar diet and your grandmother bakes a cake, will you eat it?
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
Because it's made from love. And as long as you can think, well, if you're diabetic and you don't have your insulin, then you have a valid reason. But if just because I don't eat sugar, I believe you should eat it.
Yeah. And it's yes, everything is you centered, because you're the center of your universe, just like everybody else is. But it's you in relationship to other people. It's not you and not other people. Right? So it's very important to understand that. So what you're saying, so you have an opportunity to participate with your grandmother.
Exactly.
Instead of thinking, oh,
I have to do this.
I have to go this to my grandmother, but you're doing it because you're choosing to participate. You're choosing.
Exactly. I think exactly what you're saying there, because we have a lot of people that come to us are extremely big caregivers.
Oh yeah.
And they're having a lot of, some of them are experiencing a lot of caretaker fatigue.
Yes.
But from, I think that perspective there, is perfect, that I get to participate.
Yes.
Then you are in a very a strong sense of self in it.
Yeah.
And it's a very, I would say that state will give me an energy and not deplete me from energy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing, is when you're working these 5 horsemen, you basically get energy
because
you finding meaning, and you're working out from things that are obviously serving you.
And it's a big difference in the word I'm participating versus I'm giving.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm giving time.
Yeah.
You taking my time, or I get to participate in this. There's such a big, for me, 2 different emotional states.
Do you want to hear something really interesting? This is probably the biggest source of chosen burnout in the world. Would you like to hear about it?
No, I have no clue what you're going to say now.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yes. So
hold your horses, people.
So if I want to fill my heart, I would like to do things because I love to do them. Right? Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to do what they love to do. The problem is that they put the reason why they're doing stuff on other people and other things.
I'm doing it for my grandmother. Yes. I'm doing it for my mother.
I have to do this because
I have to get paid.
I have to get paid. I have to. And
I have to drive to soccer practice because my good kid have to go there.
Exactly.
I have to.
And when your perception is there and you're having to go there or do that thing because of that thing, you're putting the power and the emotion on the outside. So the distance between that thing and your heart is the emptiness you feel.
And it becomes larger and larger and larger and larger.
It becomes larger and larger and larger, and you get more and more burned out because you're constantly not doing the things that you choose and want to do, instead of looking at things in a way that make you passionate and are falling in love with it. That is the true sense of mental mastery. But once you're clear in your head, you realize that you are actually pretty much only doing the things you want to do.
Yeah, you are choosing it somehow.
You are choosing it because the consequences, you're thinking, are the consequences bad, therefore I have to do them? That makes my heart empty. But if I get to build something positive for myself, which is the opposite of consequence, so every consequence has a positive building phase. Oh, I have to take a shower. No, bro, you get to take a shower.
You get to be clean.
You get to be clean.
You get to smell fresh.
Yeah, you really like to be clean. You would love that, if you don't. But people don't think about it that way. They take it for granted. And then they're just having to take a shower or they're having to go to work. Well, dude, you get to go participate in something meaningful and you're rewarded for it. Isn't that amazing?
I was watching a TV show the other day. I was watching Gilmore Girls.
Very, very, very
high
important.
Quality.
High quality. Yeah.
But it was a scene. Lorelai is having a coffee with Max.
Yeah.
For people that watched it. And I was looking at the barista. I'm like, she get to serve people coffee the whole day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would have loved to do that. And then I rephrased, like, no, you wouldn't have loved to serve coffee every day. No. But it was just interesting because this lady, she served coffee with such much like she was really interested in what the person wanted to have. Like she was serving people.
Yes.
And it's very interesting if you look at your job, ask yourself, how are you serving?
Exactly.
And it would be very difficult to find a job where you didn't serve.
Yeah.
Like garbage or people. I don't know what they're called in English. In Norwegian, there was called trashmen.
Yeah,
but now they're called
men.
Yeah, but now they're called renovasjonsarbeidere. Got a new title.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
But without them.
Yeah. Oh
my God.
Society does not work.
But I haven't found a garbage man that actually thinks about the service they are providing.
No, because they're stuck in the trash.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a hard time. Pun intended. They have a hard time getting a bird's eye view on what they're actually performing. Like you ask me as a chiropractor, oh man, you just crack people's backs for money. And I'm like, no, I make sure that people can pick up their grandkids. I make sure that they can go to work to feed their families. I help them get out of pain that keeps them from participating in their everyday life, right? But when you get tired and you start to forget you forget the frames, they become invisible, and your mind gets hyperactive, looking for danger, and
Mm.
you forget the wonderful service that you're giving.
No, I will.
Right?
I do when I'm in the reception. I'm seeing people,
Yeah, exactly.
and I don't know how many times a day they are seen.
Probably
This could
zero.
be
This
the only
one time this month they're seen.
So I'm really focusing on that every person is coming into the clinic.
Yeah.
You're gonna be seen today.
Yes.
And I'm gonna provide you the best service I'm able to provide.
That's it.
So that's in the clinic, and with the integrated human, the passion for me kind of building this company with you guys is that to give people the inside freedom that I have created, I am created.
Yes.
Because that life becomes so much more when you do that.
Yep.
And that's the service I would like to give to people.
Wonderful.
Right. So I think just if you have a look at it, and when you now go into these traditional times,
yeah,
have traditions, because I do love them. I love tradition. You know how much I love traditions. Yeah. But I have found them to be more powerful when asked the question, what's the root of this tradition, and how can I do that without implementing more stress and have tos?
Yeah.
But more participation and get tos.
I love that. Wonderful. Remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day, and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.